Ooh, family drama.
What are you smiling at?
It's all the drama, Mick. I just love it. Happy apple picking day. Real quick to catch up our friends who have never been here before. In our series, Am I the Bad Apple? People send in stories to our subreddit r/Am I the Bad Apple where they're not sure if they acted appropriately or not. We read the stories together and we determine if they're a good apple, a bad apple, or a crap apple. Sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't, but that's okay. As many of my followers would say, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. I highly encourage discussion in the comments, but we keep it friendly.
If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for declaring independence from my parents? I, 19 female, am staying with my dad, 50 male, and stepmom, 49 female, while my mom's new townhouse gets built. I've been having a bit of contention with my stepmom for the past month. Our relationship's never been great because she invalidates my feelings and doesn't care about anything I care about and would rather be right than understand me. The worst part is she blames me for it just a few months in.
I'm clicking with your siblings, but I'm just not clicking with you. That's because you're not trying hard enough to get along with me.
She's hated me expressing my feelings about my life to my mom because she thinks I'm bad-mouthing her and that I'm making her out to be a monster to someone who doesn't live with us. I thought it would get better once I turned 18 because she wouldn't be in control of me anymore and I would finally be able to live my own life. We would become equals. Unfortunately, that's not the case. She's been on me about getting a job lately, which I agree. I should be making an income to become more independent, but she's treating me like I owe it to her to be employed. I made a goal to have a job by the end of last month and I didn't make it. She treated me like I broke a promise. She's also told me and my brother, who's about to turn 18 himself and graduate high school, that it doesn't matter how old we are, we aren't real adults if we don't have a job. I don't think that my terms of adulthood are any of her business, and I'm tired of the disrespect. Also, she told me that she wishes I didn't bring any of my black tea into the house because she's Mormon and doesn't believe in caffeine, and I'm Catholic, and she doesn't want me wearing tank tops in her house either. I'm gonna be here all summer, and I was living with them so much last summer that I had to miss out on wearing tank tops then too. I just don't want to be my stepmom's version of socially acceptable and conform to her and my dad's beliefs. I've told my therapist and my mom about this, and while my therapist hasn't offered any real advice, my mom has told me what to do about it. According to my mom, there's nothing we can do, and we just have to wait for my stepmom to love me more. I know that my mom's view on the situation comes from her own childhood traumas, but I, however, know I deserve better, and I believe I should do something about it. Someone else on Reddit advised that I just cut the cord with my dad and my stepmom, and it would be like removing a tumor. I don't want it to come to that because my mom was disowned by her family, and I don't want to do that to anyone, especially at the risk of jeopardizing my relationship with my half-brother. I don't want to start a war or anything, but I decided the best thing I could do was use my skill for writing and create a Declaration of Independence. It isn't anything argumentative, just my beliefs on what a healthy relationship, especially with those over 18, should look like. I made sure to be humble and emphasize at the end that I just want a better relationship. I even added after my signature that I was doing this on behalf of anyone they might encounter or choose to have a relationship with. The pen is mightier than the sword, you know? So, was I the bad apple? Oh my gosh. My goodness, I know the young people are about to come for me in the comments. I understand that 18 is a legal adult. That doesn't make you equals with your parents who own the house you're living in and completely fund your whole lifestyle. And I'm specifically referencing this little comment she makes.
Oh, when I'm 18, I thought we'd become equals.
No, why would you become equals? You're living in somebody else's house, eating somebody else's food, living your life completely funded by somebody else. I'm just not understanding where that logic fits. Here's my big issue with the actions, okay? Neither I or Avery have ever had a blended family or anything like that. But from both teaching and doing the series, I understand that not all blended families are happy families. Sometimes people get along with their stepfamily, sometimes they really don't, and this appears to be one of the situations. She and the stepmom they don't get along. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But I'm sorry, when you're saying my stepmom has all these rules because she's a Mormon and has religious beliefs, but it's keeping me from doing what I want to do, no, you don't have a right to do them anyways just because you're 18. It's not your house. And I know someone in the comments is gonna tell me, Rebecca, you wouldn't be able to survive without your caffeine either. I'm not saying that I agree with the rules. I'm saying that these are stepmom's religious beliefs. So yeah, someone living there rent-free and having their whole lifestyle paid for should follow them. If you don't want to follow the rules, then go find somewhere else to live. And if you can't right now, hey, Miss Girly, you joining us? Your bed is right there. I'll put it right there for you. No? Okay. You know, we've seen similar situations in previous episodes with rules that I, again, don't necessarily agree with for my own house, but can respect, hey, if that's what you want under your roof, that's your choice. We saw the lady who didn't want her family drinking alcohol in her house, and so we said, okay, yeah, don't have alcohol in your house, but understand that people aren't gonna come over. The family's gonna wanna do holidays somewhere else. We saw the guy that didn't want his daughter-in-law breastfeeding in the living room. Again, don't agree with that at all. But she agreed to that before she came over. So yeah, when she broke that rule, that kind of made her a jerk too. But my point is, we've just consistently seen this idea of people may have rules in their homes that you may or may not agree with, but if they're paying for the home and funding your lifestyle or whatever, it is what it is. And to say, well, we should be equals, I should be able to do whatever I want. How dare you make me feel bad for not being able to get a job and fund my own lifestyle? That feels pretty unreasonable to me. A Declaration of Independence, you're not independent. You are financially dependent on these people. Being 18 might make you legally an adult, but it doesn't mean you get to just do whatever you want with other people's money in other people's house. That's still their house. In my mind, there's two options, okay? You can deal with the rules or move out. But I think that creating a Declaration of Independence is very passive-aggressive and entitled.
Oh, I'm just teaching you how to interact with everybody my age, because you clearly need it.
No, you need to be knocked down a peg. So I'm gonna go bad apple. And I'm not saying that her stepmom and dad are perfect either, okay? I don't really know anything about them except for what they've told me. And if the relationship's that bad and stepmom's making her feel that bad, okay, maybe they are awful. But that doesn't mean she's right in her Declaration of Independence. That doesn't mean that she's not being entitled. And that doesn't mean I think she should be able to offend her stepmother's beliefs in her stepmother's home just because she's 18. So what? I don't think she's trying to be like super malicious or anything. I think she genuinely believes that this is mature and the right way to go about things. And feel free to change my mind in the comments. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking of. Maybe there's a perspective that I'm just not looking at. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for wanting my dog and cat in my wedding? Oh, I'm gonna like this one. Trigger warning for miscarriages. For some context, my brother and sister-in-law have had a series of incredibly painful miscarriages before they finally had my niece Ava and nephew Liam, 4-year-old twins. As a result, my whole family, especially my sister-in-law, make a huge deal out of the twins, calling them rainbow babies. They shower them with attention and affection, almost to the exclusion of other grandkids. I've never really been as involved with this, mostly due to the fact that I live across the country, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm getting married soon. A conversation that my fiance and I recently had was the matter of the flower girl and the ring bearer. I brought up the idea of having our dog Micah and our cat Tibby fill those roles. It would be so cute! Understand, Micah and Tibby are like children to us. They've helped me through my deepest depression. They kept my fiance company when he was going through chemo, and I had to work double the hours to put food on the table. We love them to bits and consider them family. My fiance thought it was a great idea, so that's what we decided to do. Anyways, I casually brought it up at a family get-together, and my sister-in-law took me aside and asked me why I gave Leah and Ava's roles to our animals. I was confused. She explained that since Ava and Liam were her miracle rainbow babies, that obviously they should be the flower girl and ring bearer. She said
It would be good for the family for the twins to be in the wedding.
And she said it was against tradition for animals to be in a wedding. She asked me to reconsider and showed me a picture of Ava in a flower girl dress to show me how cute it would be. I said, I'm not making any decisions without my fiance's input, and I just changed the subject. I talked to my fiance about it, and he said he'd be fine with Ava and Liam taking the roles, but he'd definitely prefer our animals. I agreed that I would also prefer our animals. However, I'm now wondering if maybe having our animals in the wedding would offend the family and go against tradition. Honestly, I'm fairly sure we're not doing anything wrong, but my mind's been spinning lately, so I just need to know and get some second opinions. Would I be the bad apple if I kept my animals in it? No! I've said this before when people wanted to be bridesmaids or people wanted to make a speech or blah, 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 whatever it is. Your wedding is not other people's weddings. And I know some people are not going to like this. Other people's kids are not your responsibility. And that does include miracle babies, okay? They are beautiful and amazing and wonderful for you. That doesn't mean everyone else's lifestyle surrounds this amazing miracle that you've been bestowed with. Like my little nephew, miracle baby. And oh my God, I spoil the crap out of him, okay? But I and his mother understand that not everybody else's world revolves around that child. Which is a shame, because his smile is so perfect. But you all who know me, you also know I understand the sentiment of your pets are your children. Those two furballs in my house, they run this house, okay? This is their house. She's so cute. Hi, Vix. I will shorten trips when I travel because I want to get back to these nuggets because I miss them so much. Or I just don't want them to feel alone. Honestly, if Milo wasn't so skittish and Vixie actually listened to things, shoot, maybe we would have had them at our wedding. Point is, doesn't matter. Your wedding, your choice. If you want the animals, have them. Also, I've never liked the idea when you have like multiple kids in a family to only include kids from one household. Like what about the other nieces and nephews? That always feels gross to me. Yes, they are miracle babies and I'm so happy that their parents have them. There are still other children in the family who matter. So I'm going with good apple because, again, your wedding, your choice, your pets, your children. I can't stand when people try to control other people's weddings. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for going to my father's funeral? A few weeks ago, I, 26 female, found out my father, who I haven't seen or spoken to in 15 years, had passed away. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that, and for that reason, I haven't seen that side of my family in about that long, including my half-brothers. My grandma on his side of the family is very manipulative, and I went in knowing that. My mother, on the other hand, I'm amazingly close to, because it's just been me and her my entire life. She has a lot of animosity and anger towards my father and was very clear about her feelings about him. She said that she would be hurt if I decided to go to the celebration of life ceremony and that I would face the consequences of going. I still chose to go, and she's been acting extremely cold and hostile towards me, even though I chose to go for my peace and to see my half-brothers. She told me that I betrayed her and insulted her and that I chose her abuser over her by going. Everyone else in my life has agreed with my decision, and while I understand her position, it doesn't seem fair to me that she's blaming me for betraying her when That was never the intention. I never wanted to hurt her, and it hurts me to think that she thinks I went for that reason. On top of that, I feel like I couldn't even grieve because I was so worried about her reactions to it. I know he wasn't a good man, and I chose to walk away from him when I was 11, but he was still my father. So was I the bad apple for going to his celebration of life ceremony? Another easy one. No. So I don't have experience with like split up parents or anything like that. And obviously I think we're all getting the sense from this post that there was abuse involved, whether it be mental or emotional or physical. It's all bad, right? But without the details, I'm having mixed feelings with the mom training the girl to just, oh, he's terrible, I want nothing to do with him. It just feels strange. And I'm not saying that it wasn't justified, I'm saying that we just don't know the details, and without it, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. But something else that just sticks out to me is that mom's teaching this kid, oh, grandma's manipulative and that's why you're not around them. But she's kind of doing that with the funeral, isn't she? That's why it all just feels very questionable to me. Whether you have a relationship with a family member or not, still normal for death to just hit different. I think it's really wrong for the mom to tell her child, I'm sorry, you can't grieve over your parent. I don't like it. I don't like him, so you're fine. Everyone grieves in their own ways. Everyone has different needs when dealing with that kind of thing. And if that will help you, go do it. Your mom had no right to tell you that you couldn't go. Now, part of me sees where mom is coming from. I can see where she's frustrated and angry, especially if this is someone who abused her. 100%, that's also a valid feeling, to feel frustrated that his passing is just kind of erasing all the harm he did. I still think it's very, very, very wrong for her to not want to allow her daughter to grieve a parent. And I'm gonna call OP a good apple. We're going good apple. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for refusing to be the babysitter on vacation? I, 23 male, was repeatedly stuck playing the part of helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to watch my 3 nephews. Last year, we took a family vacation on the coast. I rode along with my parents and they paid for my hotel room. But because they paid for me, I ended up having to share a room with 3 rowdy little boys because my sister and her husband wanted to have a room to themselves. I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead, I ended up having to help with these kids the entire time. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded that I was there for free, so what did I expect? On top of it, we only really did one thing that I wanted to do, which was tour an art gallery, because I really like doing that when I'm at the coast. But the kids find it boring, so we didn't even get to stay there long. This year, my parents have a beach trip planned for June. They assumed I'd be riding along with them, the same as last year, but I refused. I said I'm gonna be driving myself and paying for my own hotel to stay, to have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of how expensive it is. I said, no worry, I've got a good paying job and a decent running car. I can more than afford it. I just want to be able to do my own thing and enjoy my vacation for once. That's when the started. I stated the previously listed things as to why I'll be driving myself and paying for myself, and again, I just want to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child or a babysitter every year. My parents told my sister and she called pissed, saying that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm out doing my own thing while she has to wrangle her 3 boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year, all she did was rope me into her mess. I didn't get to do anything that I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for just wanting to go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my own vacation too. Now my sister isn't speaking to me, and my parents are just trying to convince me to just ride with them, keep the peace, help with the boys. But no, I'm still refusing. However, pressure's getting to me. Am I the bad apple for not giving in? I know they'll have a pretty hard time taking care of all 3 kids at the beach without any help, but they're not my kids. I don't think it's crazy that I want to enjoy vacation too, right? This is another super easy one. That's some pretty good luck today. I'm going good apple. Just like we said earlier, other people's kids are not your kids. If you want to go on vacation and not have to worry about your kids, hire a babysitter, get a nanny. I think it's so entitled that anyone would think someone else isn't allowed to pay for their own vacation, isn't allowed to be on vacation with their parents or family or whatever without being responsible for your children, without agreeing to it beforehand. I don't even like that they made him do it the last year when his parents paid for him. Like if you're going through a financial thing, or if your family's like, we just want you there, we'll pay for you. Okay, sure, I can see him sharing the room. Like that makes sense to me that they wouldn't pay for an additional whole room. But why would you have to be on babysitter duty? Like if that's not discussed beforehand, I feel like that's very unreasonable to just show up and be like, oh hey, by the way, we know we got you to come and we asked you to come and we said we'd pay for you, but here are the strings attached. No, if you want strings to be attached to that kind of thing, you need to let them know beforehand so you know they can agree. And I just can't imagine the audacity and the entitlement of telling someone, oh, you didn't like the trip last year when you were responsible for my 3 children? Well, that's too bad. I'm not letting you use your own money because you have to be my babysitter. If it's that crazy and that important and the parents aren't sticking up for him, why not take the money they would have saved on his trip and put it towards a babysitter? I'm just not understanding why that's not a simple solution. It's a pet peeve of mine when people assume that their kid is everyone else's responsibilities and everyone else's world revolves around your children. I don't have kids because I don't want to be responsible for children. I want to be able to do what I want whenever I want, and if someone told me you can't because I have kids, so if I can't, you can't. No. So I'm going good, Apple. No curses today. I know last week y'all didn't really let me get away with the curse thing. Why don't you love me? But today we're good. We are safe from the curse. At least I am. I got 3 good apples, 1 bad apples. What did you guys get? Let me know down in the comments, and I would love to know your reasonings. And if you disagreed with me, just let me know why. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And as we said last week, maybe we'll do a little after party live to talk about our reasonings for all the little apples. That feels like fun. And if it goes well, maybe we'll try to make it a regular thing. I hope you'll have a great rest of your day. And I hope everyone in your life respects your boundaries this week. See you next Tuesday. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.